Good morning, good morning. I am Cardinal Dr. Elizabeth Samantha Rothschild Judge, considering all of the philanthropy that I would like to do and feeling the need to render explanation for a particular type of philanthropy, which involves housing. Okay, so to look at everything that I have and that I could do a lot to get people housed rather easily. I need to explain that it is not as cut and dry as that. It's not a black and white matter, answer of yes or no. It's not that easy. See, the housing process that the government has in place is set that way for a reason. Many persons become homeless because they lack the ability to live peaceably in a residence, be it apartment or home. So I really would like to do a lot for just housing the homeless. There's enough money, we can get it done. But I have experience staying at the homeless shelters, and I've been around. And a majority of the persons are really too problematic to even be placed in affordable housing, let alone something that won't be cared for. And I need everyone to really understand this. If a person has been harassing me and being a nuisance to me in a dwelling where we are supposed to understand our individuality and how we are there of our own recognizance and accountable for our own self, being a homeless person, yet they are too overbearing or imposing their presence on me, I cannot house someone like that in an area where, well, anywhere really, for the sake that they would begin to harass the neighbors. That's criminal activity. So someone who can't dwell in the homeless shelter and just be there until they can receive the type of help that they need for their situation without causing problems, from my perspective and my empirical experience, that type of person cannot be housed. I am not going to quickly house persons. It's a process. But when I do, it will not be for the utmost consideration of housing someone. It will be for the consideration of the community. So if I'm noticing I get up and people are getting up because I'm up, or following me around, being a nuisance by their presence, especially those who are overtly causing problems, argumentative, can't obey the rules, always have a problem with the rules that the people who are paying for them a place to stay have. I can't house anyone like that. So it still leaves us with a housing crisis just for that particular fact. So, it's much to my dismay, because I really would like to say, okay, everybody inside. But some people need to learn home skills, how to abide in the presence of others, how to coexist and cohabitate. And without that, there can be no permanent housing. What's the point in putting someone in a place, be it an apartment or a house, when the neighbors are going to have to start calling the police all the time because this newly housed person won't stay off their property, won't stop knocking on their door, or every time they get ready to go to work, they're noticing that the person is outside at that time. When they change the time or change their schedule, then the stalking adjusts. That's bothersome, and that's not safe, and it's not healthy. So for the sake of public health and public administration, everyone needs to know that with regard to my governmental position, as well as my position in my company to access funding to support affordable housing for those who cannot afford themselves, it comes into consideration of their criminal intent. And when it cannot be trained, 'cause these are adults. And for the past year, I have experienced a great deal of stalking and harassment that I even forebode and warned could happen, gave specifics on how to prevent it from happening, yet it happened anyway. So it comes to a person's cognizant capacity to understand that they need a place to stay and to mind social and community behaviors and guidelines in order to remain housed. Otherwise, they just lose the place they're staying, or it would be such a great and grotesque intrusion into a community that would otherwise be a peaceful place to stay, that it is impossible. So those things are in consideration, and I would like for persons that live near any affordable housing units or some empty places that could possibly be used to house the homeless, as well as those that are looking at me and my money and saying, well, she has the money to house a lot of people, and considering that I'm around homeless persons that need to be housed, I could very well provide for that. I want you all to know that it's not going to be a cut and dry process to just say, oh, this person does not have a place to stay, give them this. There's more accountability that goes to it, and I'm not going to be held accountable for putting someone somewhere and they're going to be bothersome to the neighbors or bothersome to the persons that work in the area, being a nuisance. I mean, if they're a nuisance at the shelters and on the streets, then surely. So we'll take some time to understand the capacity of providing home training through home economics programs for persons who are in the homeless network to help prepare them for being housed. Because quite certainly a person that can't be housed we cannot be forced to put them in a place that would either they would vandalize themselves, destroy themselves, mess up the plumbing, mess up the sheetrock, mess up the yard, disturb the neighbors, go in the neighbor's yard, trespass, criminal trespassing, criminal stalking, just because they're problematic. So keep that into consideration, everyone. That's my perspective on it, and that's where I stand, unless there's a amicable platform for someone to present to me something otherwise. And if so, that needs to be publicized. I'll film it myself and put it on my YouTube stream with regard to that subject matter. So looking at the homeless, and people are hopeful, so to the point to where they want to dress like me. They want to find a color I'm wearing and wear the color to portray, oh, we're going to get help, when they might not even be someone who deserves the help or is ready to accept the help. Okay, even if it goes to everybody or anyone, if they're not prepared for it, they can't receive it. So leaving that there, you all have a great day.